Hello, hello, hello. I'm going to reach right through the TV and give y'all a big squeeze. Hello and welcome to the Kathy J Show. I am Kathy J. Thank you so much for joining me today. I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much for stopping me on the street when you see me at the stores. I love it when you say hi to me. What I don't like, Regina, is when you tell me that you saw me in the store after I left it and then you tweet it to me. Don't do that. I need you to tell me while we're in the store because I love saying hi to all of you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sharing part of your day with me. I love you so much. You know, when I started this show, I told you the show isn't about me. Just because I got my name on it, it's not about me. The show is about us because there's too much happening in our world for us to be wrapped up in the celebrities and what they're doing, worrying about what's happening on social media. Stop it, because life is happening all around us, everybody. And I want us to talk about the issues and the successes that we have in our lives. When one thing happens to us that's bad, I don't want it to shut you down for the rest of your life. I want you to get strength from it. I want you to learn from it. I want you to know that other people have gone through what you're going through. You know, my show couldn't happen without people that believed in me. People like my partners, like Ramos Law. When I went to them and told them about the vision for the Kathy J Show, the fact that I wanted to help everybody with it, the fact that I needed a bigger platform, Ramos Law was like, yes, Kathy, that is exactly who we are. That's how we live our lives. That's how we want to help you. So I got to meet Mr. Ramos. You guys were all here about a week and a half ago. Joe came in, he hung out, he was amazing. The halo was over him as we sat on the couch. He grew up in a small town. He became a doctor. Then he became a lawyer because, you know, being a doctor wasn't good enough. Remember, we had such a good time with him. All of our jaws were on the floor at everything he'd been accomplishing, especially when he said, oh, and then this weekend, I can't wait to go and fly down to Texas. We were like, what? Who says that? He does. Well, guess what? Today, my guest is just as amazing. She is also one of 8 children, just like Mr. Ramos was. She also grew up in a small town of about 100 people, just like Mr. Ramos did. You catching on? She won Miss Nevada on a dare. Who does that? She started a career in radio and TV, so I can't wait to talk to her about that. She also has advocated for tribal communities, at-risk youth and teens, sexual assault survivors, domestic violence survivors. She's a self-defense instructor. It goes on and on. You ready? I got a list. You ready? She hikes, she scuba dives, she flies helicopters, she trains wild Mustangs. She's currently working on her aerial silk tricks that go through the air. This weekend, I just finished the first season of Hacks on Netflix. I feel very accomplished for doing that. Thank you, Mark. Thank you. But my guest today also does tricks with hula hoops, and she also is a lawyer as well. What? Mind blown, I know. Are you ready? It's Mr. Ramos' sister. I know something's in the water in that town in Nevada. Kari Ramos is here to talk about her life helping people and animals. So get ready, everybody. Get ready to be inspired. Let's hear her story and how it definitely put her on the track to the woman that we're going to meet today. She'll be joining us right next. She'll be joining us on the couch when we come back right after these messages. Ramos Law is an official partner of the Kathy J Show. He's a medical doctor and a lawyer. Ramos Law, what makes us different makes us better. Hello. Welcome back, everybody, to the Kathy J Show. Sorry, just let me check my hair. I was worried today was going to be a bad hair day. You know how you have Miss Nevada come in and you can't be messing up. So last week we had the privilege of hanging out and meeting Dr. Joseph Ramos from Ramos Law. Well, today, guess what, everybody? We have the honor of meeting one of his attorneys in his practice, as well as his younger sister. Everybody, please welcome Kari Ramos to the show. Yay! Thank you, Kari, for being here. Okay, so you have an amazing story. So let me just start with growing up with your brother. What do you remember about growing up in that small town of 100 people?
Oh my gosh, it was the best because we were always busy. You know, you were playing outside, you were riding horses, you were riding four-wheelers through the mountains. And really, we had free run of the whole town.
Right.
Because everybody there knew who you were and what you were doing.
Yes.
So your mom would know what you were doing long before
you made it home.
Yeah. So it really was just the best childhood. And you learn a different sense of compassion.
You do.
Oh, without a doubt. Because when someone's in the ambulance, you know who's in the ambulance.
That's exactly right.
When, when somebody needs something, you know them on all the different levels of their lives.
Yes.
And so it means something different.
You're absolutely right. Now, this we thought was you and your brother, but this is one of your, because you and your brother are 15 years apart.
We are.
So this is your older sister and your brother.
Yep.
But you look just like her as a baby.
A friend of mine jokes that we are like a Xerox machine.
Yes.
That the kids just
You all
come out and they
the
just
same.
look exactly the same. Maybe a little tweak here and there, but a little.
Well, we do have a picture, I think, of all of you that we'll put up in a second. But when you, there it is. Is that all of you?
No, that's 4 of us and our dad.
Okay.
Yeah, or 5 of us and our dad. Yeah.
How awesome, though. And you're the 6th of 8 kids.
I am.
Okay, so when you said growing up in that small town with all of you running around, so by now Joe is gone. He's off becoming Mr. America.
Yes. Yes.
Captain America. You're growing up. Was there pressure that your brother's out doing this or your other siblings are doing this? Did you have any of that pressure in your home?
No, our mom was a janitor and our dad was a mechanic. And so there wasn't even a push for higher education.
Really?
No. Joe is he's bionic, is the truth. And he just has always had such big dreams. And so for us, we were always just crazy proud of him.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but there wasn't a pressure in that. And he's so humble that, like I told him, I said, man, God knew what he was doing when he did not make me competitive in any way, because I would have had the worst self-esteem being his sibling.
Yes, you would have.
I mean,
God.
yeah.
You're right. Move
it was
that
a
along.
gift.
Yeah, totally a gift. So when did you realize that it was time for you to get out of the small town? Or did you stay there and realize that you could help people in the small town? How did that, because you really have done so much in Nevada. Where did it all start?
Yeah, so actually what was funny was that there was a Take a Student to Work Day.
Okay.
And I didn't want to do what everybody was doing, and I worked for my mom as a janitor, so I didn't need to go to, to work with her that day.
Yeah.
And so it always, I don't know, intrigued me as to how TV happened. I knew that it eventually made it to the screen, but I didn't know what that meant or how they got it there.
Right.
And so I called Reno, which was the closest town near us. It's 3 hours away. And so I called there and just started calling TV stations and radio stations and saying, hey, can I come in for a day and just shadow somebody?
That's all you did?
Yeah, because I just wanted to know.
And they gave you an opportunity. You came in, you fell in love with TV and radio.
They hired me that day and I was still in high school.
Look at you, Kari. I would hire you, too.
You're so cool.
Want to be a janitor? Done. What do you want to do?
I just really liked it.
You want to be an anchor? Done.
Well, thank you.
Right. So then when did you start? Because this is something that I think is fascinating. Let's talk about when you were a teenager, you were sexually assaulted by a doctor in your small town that you're talking about. I think it's fascinating that you didn't let it define you in a negative way.
I did for a bit.
Did you?
I
Okay,
did.
because I'm sure a lot of people didn't want to believe you. It's a small town, like you said, everybody knows everybody's families. How did it affect you, and then when did you come out of it and use it as a strength?
Yeah, so I think that it defined me in the way that I was keeping it in for so long. I wasn't initially believed, and he was a really powerful man in that community. And so there was a lot of fear in what then happens next.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And so I just kind of kept stuffing it down. And the one way that I can make sense of this is kind of like a beach ball. If you've ever played with a beach ball in the pool and you're pushing it under the water,
yes, right.
and it gathers more and more power,
yes.
the more you push it under, it seems like that little thing, you could bounce it all over when it's on top.
Right.
But when you keep pushing it under, it just gains more strength. And that's what it was like for me. And finally, I couldn't keep it under anymore. I became really suicidal, and I just was kind of in a fog. And when I finally thought, what are you going to do? Is this going to be it? Are you really going to stay afraid of him?
Yeah.
And so I pulled it out from under the water, and then you can do anything you want with it.
Right.
Right. So
now
then
you're free.
Yeah. Now
right.
you can unplug the ball, and if you want to refill it and play with it, you can. If you want to, toss it on the side, you can.
Let the air out of it, set it on fire.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah. And so really for me, what was really helpful was a friend had come to me, and she said, "Hey, you act a lot like I did when I was holding a really big secret." And she said, I was assaulted. and I fear that you may have been assaulted. And I felt like all of my secrets were now, that everybody had
Exposed.
seen them.
Wow.
And here I thought I was really good at hiding it. And she said, you act a lot like I did. And so she gave me a support group information. I thought, hey, listen. I mean, you can imagine
yeah,
growing
right.
up with like a rancher as a dad, who's, and kind
You're
of.
not talking feelings with your dad. Yeah, right.
No. And so I thought, I told her, I said, I don't have any interest in sitting in a circle and crying with a bunch
Right.
of women about what's gone wrong in our lives. I've got things to do. And she said, well, it looks like you better start doing that. And I was like, oh, you might be right.
So what you're saying is it actually was a benefit for everyone else out there that's saying, I don't need to sit in a circle and have people cry. That it changed your life. The support group.
100%. 100%. It's one of the best decisions I've ever made, is to be open about it and to talk about it, because it wasn't my fault.
No.
And you don't know that if you keep it in. The little tiny voices will tell you, but it was.
Right.
You can say to yourself all day long, that's not my fault, I couldn't have prevented it, and you can do all of that, but when you really do open up about it, you start to get the only way that we're unsafe is if there's a predator in the room. Otherwise, we can do, say, dress, drink, whatever it may be that people do and blame themselves.
Yes.
You can do that safely when there are safe people in the room.
That's right. That's right. Okay, goosebumps, Kari. Hang on, we will be right back. Don't go anywhere, everybody. In just a few minutes, we'll be back to talk about Kari, talk about some things, with the personal injury in the law firm. But I have more questions for Kari. We'll be right back, everybody. Oakwood Homes is an official partner of the Kathy J Show. Oakwood Homes, building happiness. Welcome back to the show, everybody. So my guest today is Kari Ramos with Ramos Law, and we were just talking about her about all the fascinating things she's done. One of them, she was an advocate for tribal communities, for at-risk teens and youth, and you helped people. You taught feds how to help people when they found them in human trafficking cases. You've done so much. You also have a whole other side of you that is about animals that I just love. You rescue and help train wild Mustangs. Yeah. How do you even get into that?
Well, a whole lot of bravery / stupidity, maybe.
Okay, yeah. That's 1,300 pounds coming at you.
Yeah, one of my older brothers told me, he said, sister, why don't you get yourself just a couple old trail horses.
Some mares.
Yeah, like maybe 20 plus years old. And then I called him and said, hey, brother, would you mind if I came to your house because we just adopted two-year-old Mustangs. They're wild, and they've had a couple days, like a couple weeks. I don't know.
Which is nothing.
60 to 90 days at the prison, right?
Right.
They've had a little bit of time, and he said, "Are you suicidal? What is wrong with you?"
So what is it about them? Why do you want them? Why did you want to save them?
I think partially. I appreciate the wild streak that is in them
Totally.
because I think I
You are
probably
wild.
have some of that.
Yes.
But I think the other part is that horses are just so magical. They're incredibly intuitive.
Yeah.
They can distinguish between, I think they say 18 different emotions. They really have this majestic nature about them. And so for me, I want to know more about it. And
Yeah.
they humble me and they teach me so much and they make me a better leader and more self-aware.
I think it's
million
also
things.
with everything that you have going on, Kari, it's also like a good outlet that you just get to totally just, because your mind can't be anywhere else. And I heard an interview where you said you have to show up on time. Those horses need to know that they count on you for the trust issues. And I think that's with anyone, actually.
Absolutely.
Cases that you deal with as a lawyer, you just have to show up. Time and time
Absolutely.
again to let people know that you're there for them. That's pretty amazing.
They really are. They ground you, and they also force you to be present in the moment. One, so that you don't get hurt,
Right.
But even as they start being better trained and they're just more at ease,
Right.
they really call that out of you to show up. They know if you're not paying attention.
Right.
And I mean, I can tip my shoulder in the slightest way and they'll change direction.
What?
It's little tiny nuances that you don't know if you don't really have a language and a dance with them. And at first I was horrible at it. I mean, I would get in there and I thought,
Yeah,
yeah, I thought I was gonna teach them to do something, and really they're teaching me.
That's
the
awesome.
Whole,
Has it made you better as a lawyer?
Oh, without a doubt.
Really?
It's made me more patient. It's helped me to see that preparation is key. It also helps me to think on my feet. And just, I think, because horses make me more gentle, I think I can then serve my clients better.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Since you are a lawyer, I want to ask you a few questions. Unless personal injury, you guys, that's one of the things you specialize at Ramos Law is personal
Absolutely.
injury. What covers personal injury?
Personal injury is really broad.
Yes.
So there's no way that I would probably get it all in
Okay.
one show. But what I can say is you can think of it in the way that if someone hurts another person or if someone gets hurt, typically, if there was a way to see that that would have happened, or if, we all have kind of a general duty to each other to keep each other safe, to do the things that we should be doing
Right.
in a
Don't
certain
get on that
circumstance.
ladder. Yes,
Yeah.
right.
To slow down in traffic, to clean up a wet floor, things like that.
Right.
So if someone doesn't do that and then it causes someone else to suffer some sort of injury, that's really what we cover. So that's brain injuries, dog bites, motor vehicle accidents. We have an aviation division. We've got a nursing home division. So
much.
Yeah. And
what
it
do you
also,
specialize in?
Well, a few different things, but one of the things that kind of relates to what we were talking about is that one way that I really love that involves personal injury is the civil domestic batteries and civil sexual assaults.
Oh, wow.
Because a lot of people only think that you can go criminally. And criminal is all about, is there prison or jail time? What kind of punishment is there going to be? But in some circumstances...
Like civil, what is that?
Civil's all about money. And so there's insurance companies, right? There's personal funds. There are other ways that you can hold people accountable for the wrongs that they've committed. And I think that the benefit of that, this isn't to go out and harm people financially.
Right.
And it never is that way either when we're going after someone for a car accident or a slip and fall.
Right.
We all are kind of tasked, even by the government, to have insurances, whether that's for our businesses or our cars.
Because things will go wrong.
Because things go wrong and it's an accident.
Yep.
Right? And we didn't intend to do it.
Right.
And most people aren't out there to hurt anyone.
No.
And so,
but now I've been hurt and it's catastrophic what the consequences are.
Yeah. And I'm a human. I do messy things. I don't always mean to, right?
Right.
So that's why I have insurance, so that if something goes wrong, I can take care of the person that I harmed.
And I loved what you said, Kari, is you want people to know out there, because so many times, I mean, I can't tell you how many barbecues as I was growing up where someone got cut or, family and friends, they don't want to sue each other because you don't want any bad blood.
Yes.
But I was hearing you talk about the fact that a lot of times it goes through insurance companies, so the bad blood doesn't really even have to affect the people.
No.
Right.
And, we have a lot of people who, when they have caused an accident, they're sending flowers to our clients. They're giving them their insurance information and saying, hey, call me if you have any problems.
Right.
They know that they've created the
But
accident.
I heard you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to admit fault, Kari. You're just supposed to say, I don't know what happened. Talk to a lawyer. Here's Ramos Law. Isn't that what I'm supposed to do? Mum's the word. Don't be sending flowers.
Some law firms would tell you differently, but what I think is that, at Ramos Law, we really are trying to change an industry. And the truth is, there are really good people out there who do bad things or make mistakes.
Yes.
And the majority of our clients, that's their first concern, is please don't sue this person. I don't want to hurt them. I know that they were a mom and they had kids in the car, whatever that is.
Yes, right.
And the truth is, we don't go after people in that way.
Right.
And so we make sure that people get compensated for their injuries, and more so that they get better.
Yes.
Because there's what amount of money could keep you from wanting your health,
Right.
from wanting to be able to use your limbs in the way that they should, So really, I think the bigger focus is do the right thing, and for a lot of people, that's to get their medical bills paid for so they can continue to care for their families.
So do the right thing. It's called Ramos Law. RamosLaw.com. We'll be right back.
So.
Kathy J.
The Colorado Lottery is an official partner of the Kathy J Show. Colorado Lottery, play on. Welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm sweating. Kari's got me dying. I asked her how she won Miss Nevada, and she was saying that she didn't understand the talent competition till she had to do it. These were her dance moves.
Worse than that is the truth.
She said she wanted to turn the lights off on herself. I want to thank all of my partners for the Kathy J Show, Ramos Law, FitMD, Oakwood Homes, and the Colorado Lottery. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show and for supporting our community. Also, thank you to IKEA Centennial for my awesome orange couch and awesome set, and Kari Ramos for joining us. Do you have any closing words for our audience today?
Yeah, I would say this, that I think there are a lot of times that we are looking for a magic pill. You know, magic pill for whatever it is, whether that's success or wealth or weight or whatever. I think for me, what life has taught me is that the best magic pill I've ever had is gratitude. I feel like it's important to share that, because no matter where we're at, no matter how low life seems, we can always find something to be grateful for, and sometimes it starts real basic.
It starts basing right here. I'm grateful for you showing up. I'm grateful for you guys showing up. Thank you so much. Thank you to Ramos Labs. Say goodbye, Kari. Bye.